Hi. I wanted to talk about consideration. During this kind of spiritual, soulful path works that we are taking ourselves on in development, we need to remember to live in the heart, within the heart. And, it's one of the most important lessons of doing this kind of work is living within the heart. But one has to learn to use not just the heart, but also consideration. Consideration is needed in every situation. Considering not just yourself, but also the environment that you're in and those that are with you, other people that are involved in situations. And this consideration also includes a form of judgment and assessment. And I'm talking about judgment and assessment in a way that one is able to assess a situation and one is able to judge in a way that is able to bring an ability to come to considered decisions. It's a judgment, not a judgment of, oh, I'm judging you, you're a bad person, or I'm judging you because you're, whatever. I mean judgment as in judgment of looking at and considering situations. It's a different kind of judgment than a personal judgment against someone else. Every situation we should be considering what's going on from hopefully a spiritual and awakened point of view, a soulful point of view, of assessing a situation, why someone's being like this, why you're in this certain area, like the environment or whatever. I don't know, for example, I'm sitting in a chair, it catches fire, I'm at work, I've got 4 different types of fire extinguishers in this room to deal with different fires, electrical fires, furniture fires, gas fires. An assessment is being able to know which fire extinguisher I need to use for this chair that I'm sitting on that's catching fire. But I know that's in an emergency situation. You have to think quickly. And for many people, I found, how do you say this without upsetting anyone? People just don't seem to know how to assess situations. Not all people. But I think it's something that should be taught to young people from a young age. We should be able to teach people how to assess a situation, how to come to a valued, considered decision on something, rather than just being told what to do, which is what the main problem is, I suppose, of this world, is people aren't considering. People are told this is how we react to things, this is what we have to do. Take, for example, the fire extinguisher example I just gave you. People are, thankfully we go on training to learn to know which fire extinguisher we should use for what, but what type of fire. But a lot of this is common sense, and common sense isn't very common. And why is it not common? Because people aren't taught and how to think, how to use common sense when they're from a young age, so that they put it into everything that they deal with, everything they're learning, every experience they have. At my school when I was a kid, and hopefully schools are changing, but it was just learn to recite and reiterate back what you've just been told, rather than consideration of why you're learning this. There's no examination of why I need to know this. Hopefully schools are changing. Hopefully there's families out there, and I've met wonderful parents that do teach their children to think about a situation, to assess a situation. How to be capable of observing what's going on before them and what they're involved with. I'm going to do another example actually it's a first aid one. So hopefully many of you have been on your first aid courses, and you know that if someone needs resuscitating, if it's an adult, you press down on the chest, so many pumps, pushes, how much to do. to resuscitate them. But if it's a child, a little baby, you wouldn't push down like you would with an adult. You'd use your fingers and push that way because it's a smaller body. You know, that's common sense. I would like to think everyone would think this through when they're about to hopefully resuscitate a child. Hopefully no one's ever in them kind of situations. But I was surprised on my first aid course how many people needed to be told that you press for a little baby with your fingers, or maybe one finger if it's a tiny baby, and that for adults it's hands, you know, with your palms. Because they've not been taught how to assess a situation. They just think one solution fits everything. And as we all know in life, actually in reality, a pre-planned solution very rarely actually goes to plan. So what I suppose I wanted this show to be about, since it's meant to be a spiritual, soulful show, is, are you capable of assessing a situation? You know, have you got that formative assessment within you, or a formative associative way of thinking in you, or are you pre-programmed and do you need to go out and learn how to look at situations and how to be more considerate? You know, are you able to think things through? Or when you go into a situation, are you aware of what else is going on in that situation, the environment you're in? For example, you go into a room, you know, are you aware of the room? Are you aware of the atmosphere in there? Are you aware how different people are reacting? You know, I'm not saying you're sitting there being some kind of witchy, wonderful psychic person that could put someone on edge because you know exactly how they're feeling, but it's just being considerate and noticing how other people are being and how you're being. You know, are you able to be aware like a Jedi? If you go into a room, oh, that person over there is feeling a bit, you know, shoddy today, or that person over there is upset, but they're trying to hide it well. You know, most people ignore this kind of thing. I'm not saying you have to go and help them people, but I'm just saying the more you're more aware of a situation, you're able to assess the situation and be able to consider the situation and other people, the more it helps you to develop yourself on your spiritual, soulful path. So with that and with consideration, love to you all. And let's keep it real, people.